With the case of Brittany Griner in the public eye this year, women's basketball has been brought to the forefront, and it's about time. The WNBA began back in 1996 and has thus far provided fans of the game with some truly great players, some of whom we will be taking a closer look at today. Settle in, as today we're discussing the top 10 best players in the history of the WNBA in no particular order. First up, we're talking Teresa Weatherspoon. One of the game's first true superstars, Weatherspoon turned out for the New York Liberty as well as the LA Sparks in the WNBA, having previously played abroad. Having won a gold medal at the Olympic Games in Seoul back in '88, she became the first real household name in women's basketball and would go on to win a plethora of awards throughout her career, including 4 All-WNBA selections, whilst also being voted Defensive Player of the Year on 2 occasions. A solid defensive player, Weatherspoon hustled her way through every single play and could always be relied on. She will forever be remembered for hitting a huge 3/4 court shot at the end of the game to tie the Liberty with the Comet in the WNBA Finals, later saying in retirement, "I would hope that I left something positive as I played the game." We have Cynthia Cooper joining us now. Stick around. Cooper was one of the first real pros to play in the fledgling league during the 90s and had accrued a wealth of experience all over Europe before heading back stateside, bagging 4 championships whilst also being the league's top scorer for 3 consecutive years as the 90s drew to a close. Cooper is still first on the all-time points per game list, 21.0, which gives you a better idea of just how dominant she was. When asked what inspired her to become an all-time WNBA great back in 2011, Cooper replied that she just wanted to be the best, and whatever it happened to be, she put her mind to it. Well, as she is safely on our list of all-time WNBA greats, she can look back on a job well done. Were you a fan of Cynthia Cooper? Sue Bird is up next. Stay tuned. No, Sue isn't related to Larry before you ask in the comments, although she might be just as good. With 4 championships and the most assists in WNBA history, Bird was almost guaranteed her place on today's list. She turned out for the Seattle Storm for her entire WNBA career, where she is also 7th on the all-time scoring list as well as 7th in field goals made. The legendary point guard was also the first player to win championships in 3 different decades. I mean, longevity much? Add to the fact that she's a 5-time All-WNBA first-team player, and we're talking about a living legend here. She's also way out in front in WNBA appearances and is almost certainly the best point guard the game has ever seen. If there is a number 1, she is very close to being it. We're talking about Sylvia Fowles now. Having just retired, we can now look back on a superb Fowles career that saw her win 2 championships, both with Lynx. Fowles also sits top of the rebounds list and is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, with career stats of 15.8 PPG, 9.8 RPG, 1.8 BPG, and 59.7 FG%. Sylvia has a menace all over the floor, and considering the fact that she's the league's all-time leader in double-doubles, she has a shoe-in for today's list. After joining the Lynx, she made an already dominant team even better, and similar to Bird, she has been a mainstay for many a year. I mean, just last season, she was tipped to again win the Defensive Player of the Year, but was just pipped by A'ja Wilson, a true great. Who is your all-time favorite WNBA player? Lauren Jackson is coming through next. Australia's Jackson currently sits 10th in an all-time scoring list, having been a 3-time scoring champion. But she was also mightily consistent everywhere else, making the WNBA first team on no fewer than 7 occasions. She was also a 5-time All-Defensive Team member and threw up some pretty killer stats across her 2-time championship-winning career. She posted 18.9 PPG, 7.7 RPG, 1.4 APG, and 46.0 FG% to assert herself as one of the most transformative players the league has ever seen. She also holds the record for the top 2 seasons of all time, as well as leading the league in offensive win share 6 times. Whew. What a player. Joining us next is Sheryl Swoopes. Stay tuned. Swoops turned out for the Comets, storm, and shock across a silverware and award-laden career. The shooting guard, small forward, won 4 championships around the turn of the century, also bagging 3 MVP awards. She was crowned Defensive Player of the Year on no fewer than 3 occasions and would represent the All-WNBA team 5 times. Swoops was an all-around great, impacting the game in several areas, and was known for her relentless pace throughout her epic career. The first to ever record a triple-double in the WNBA, Swoops also managed to bag Olympic gold, which means there was no way she could be ignored on today's list. Synonymous with the WNBA, Sheryl Swoops was also the first female player to have a signature shoe. Pretty cool. We're talking about Lisa Leslie now. Leslie represented the LA Sparks for her entire career, and much like other players on this list, ended her time in the game with plenty of accolades. The 2 championships, as well as winning the Defensive Player of the Year award on 2 occasions, there was much more to Leslie's game. An iconic original NBA player alongside Sheryl Swoops and Rebecca Lobo, Leslie was also a part of the 1996 Olympic gold medal winning team USA in Atlanta. She would finish her career with some pretty fearsome stats, which included 17.3 PPG, 9.1 RPG, 2.4 APG, as well as 47.0 FG%, and was also an 8-time All-WNBA player. An all-time great for sure, she is universally accepted as one of the most talented centers the women's game has ever seen. Where does Leslie rank in your top 10? Let us know below. Maya Moore is joining us now, so stick around. Currently on sabbatical, Moore turned out for the Lynx between 2011 and 2018 and has managed 4 championships in that time, as well as being named to the All-WNBA first team on no fewer than 5 occasions. With an 18.4 PPG average, Moore was more than capable when it came to point scoring and definitely lived up to her reputation as the 2011 #1 pick. One of the most prolific players the league has ever had the pleasure of witnessing, Moore was a driving force behind the uber-successful Lynx team of the 2010s, so it's quite sad to think we might never get to see her do her thing again. Many people already view her as the women's GOAT, but if we had stuck around just a couple of seasons longer, there would be no argument. Unfortunately, criminal justice reform waits for nobody. Next up, we have Tamika Catchings, another one who has a solid argument for being crowned the GOAT. Catchings is the only player to ever rank in career top 10 in steals 1st, points 3rd, rebounds 4th, and assists 8th. Incredible. She only won 1 championship in her career, however, but that isn't her fault given how dominant teams like the Minnesota Lynx were. A 7-time All-WNBA first-team player, Catchings is regularly spoken of as the most complete player the league has ever seen, evidenced by the fact that she's still the only player to ever finish in the top 10 in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Oh, and she's done that twice, by the way, meaning the Fever's stint as a top team literally owes everything to Catchings. Where does she rank for you guys? And finally, it's Diana Taurasi. Many people's GOAT, Diana is widely regarded to be the best offensive player in WNBA history, with stats of 19.4 PPG, 4.0 RPG, 4.3 APG. It's easy to see why. The most prolific scorer the league has ever seen, she is the only player to ever break 9,000 and is out in front by more than 2,000 points, giving you a better idea of just how great she has been. A 3-time championship winner, she has also, unsurprisingly, been crowned top points scorer on 5 occasions and is a staple of the All-WNBA team with 10 appearances. The key to Taurasi's claims as the best to ever do it is her sheer consistency. Others might have been better over short periods, but she's always been there and is still doing it for the Mercury even at the age of 40. Incredible. So who is your GOAT? As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to tune in again next time when we'll have more fun reveals for you. And why not do us a big favor by liking and sharing today's video, as well as subscribing to our channel. Bye guys.